A very good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on Newsroom series. I'm Dominic Iwiwu. Today we will be focusing on the north central zone of the country. But before we get into that, let's take a look at national headlines making the rounds at the moment. The immediate past Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwoola, is advocating the need for measures to be put in place to reduce the burden on the apex court, as he explains that there are too many cases before the court which ought to have been terminated at the appeal court. Justice Ariwoola, who stated this at a valedictory session in his honor at the Supreme Court in Abuja, says access to justice is contributing largely to the delay in the hearing of cases, as litigants and lawyers are forced to wait for several years to have their cases decided. Justice Ariwoola explains that the right to fair hearing can only be guaranteed when lawyers and litigants do not have to wait for so long to have their cases heard. He also stressed the need for the bench to have more judicial officers to adjudicate on all matters timely. In Enugu State, the state government has demolished properties allegedly used by kidnappers for their activities in the outskirts of Enugu, the state's capital. The chairman of Enugu Capital Territory Development Authority, Uche Anya, explains that among the properties were an uncompleted story building with an underground tunnel at Nkwobo layout in MNEK, where a large cache of arms and ammunition were recovered, and a large farm housing a poultry, piggery, and plantain plantation. Mr. Anya stresses that government is determined to eliminate all manner of criminality from the state, as well as take over the properties for government use. We start off in Kwara State, where the federal government has declared its resolution to face environmental challenges head-on with creativity, innovation, and perseverance. Secretary to the federal government, Senator George Akume, revealed this at the inauguration of an erosion control drainage in Patigi, Kwara State.
Flooding has long been a persistent nightmare for the people of Patigi in Kwara State. The annual deluge not only leaves many homeless, but also devastates farmlands and tragically claims lives. In response to the severe erosion caused by these floods, the National Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission, HYPODEC, began constructing an erosion control drainage system in August 2022. 2 years later, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, represented by the Minister of Youth Development, Dr. Jamila Bio Ibrahim, arrives to inaugurate the new erosion control drainage system.
The project we're about to commission today is more than just an infrastructural development. It also represents a paradigm shift in how we approach urban planning and environmental protection. We have in the past witnessed the consequences of inadequate town planning across Nigeria as people have built homes and businesses on natural floodplains and water passages, leaving communities vulnerable to extreme weather events. This erosion and flood control diet provides a solution to these long-lasting issues.
This project aligns with the renewed hope agenda of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, and our modest commitment to a safer environment in our state. It is one of the several makers signifying that we are moving into an era of resilience and progress for our nation. We are similarly pursuing the dredging of the river Niger, which we think will go a long way to tackle the perennial flooding as well as open a new opportunities in the axis of our state.
The new system features 2 sections of drainage spanning 0.75 kilometers, complete with culverts. Additionally, it includes 0.325 kilometers of drains from various sections, all designed to channel water to the river and protect the surrounding land.
Our flood control drainage system we are about to commission today consists of 2 sections spanning 0.75 kilometers with culverts. We have also constructed 0.2325 kilometers of drain from various locations which serve as spur to the main drainage, which has been provided to salvage the surrounding land by channeling runoff to the river. The total cost of this project is 613,473,516 naira and 93 kobo.
We need to support the government. Everybody has his own responsibility. But when there is negligence in your own responsibility, you don't expect Mr. President to come from his office.
With the completion of this erosion control drainage system, it's anticipated that annual flooding in Patigi will be significantly reduced. However, further improvements are expected once dredging of the River Niger is completed in the affected zones.
We move over onto health issues as concerns on the increase of viscovaginal fistula complications among female is becoming worrisome, which require urgent need for collaborative efforts between governments, non-governmental organizations, as well as individuals in rehabilitation of patients. This concern was expressed by Governor Caleb Mutfwang of Plateau State at the flag-off of Free VVF Surgery and Empowerment Program held at the Brigham University Teaching Hospital in Jos. Governor Mutfwang restates government's commitment in the provision of healthcare services to the people at all levels.
Concerns about the rise in vesicovaginal fistula VVF cases among women are intensifying, highlighting the urgent need for increased commitment and collaboration from governments, non-governmental organizations, and individuals to support patient rehabilitation. This concern was underscored by Plateau State Governor Caleb Mutfwang at the launch of a free VVF surgery and empowerment program held at the Brigham University Teaching Hospital in Jos. Governor Mutfwang emphasized the state's commitment to providing comprehensive healthcare services in partnership with other stakeholders to promote a healthier population.
To effectively address this challenge, there is a pressing need for greater commitment and collaboration among organizations, philanthropists, policymakers to provide surgeries, rehabilitation, and reintegration programs. Far too often, these women have been neglected, and their plight has not received the attention it deserves from policymakers.
Over the past 2 decades, Plateau State has recorded over 12,000 cases of vesicovaginal fistula, with many more cases remaining unreported. This rising number is putting significant pressure on the limited medical facilities available to address the condition. In response, a free VVF surgery and empowerment program was inaugurated at the VVF Center in Brigham University Teaching Hospital. The Plateau State government, in collaboration with the financial institution, is offering free surgeries for 50 patients and providing empowerment support to 300 women to aid their rehabilitation.
Second, Aisha Mustafa.
This year, we seek to consolidate the government's efforts in raising awareness and supporting the surgical repairs for 50 women going through the challenges of this menopause called. So what we are saying here is that the intervention we are making to this institution is to ensure that they have surgical intervention for 50 affected women.
The financial institution is covering the costs for 50 surgical procedures and providing starter packs to assist in the empowerment scheme.
I want to let you know that most of the women that have fistula, about 80 to 98%, have it because they were answering the call of nature to bring forth life. It is through prolonged obstructed labor that these women endure. Some of them for 3 days, some of them for 7 days. We have had records of women that have labored for up to 2 weeks.
The coordinator at the VVF Center detailed the traumatic and dehumanizing effects of this condition on affected women, emphasizing the need for continued support and intervention. Currently, not less than 500 women from northern Nigeria, as well as from neighboring countries like Togo and Niger Republic, are receiving treatment for VVF complications at the Bingham University Teaching Hospital. The program reflects a significant step towards addressing the health crisis and improving the lives of women suffering from this debilitating condition.
The United States Agency for International Development and Mercy Corps is stepping down peace building and its conflict sensitivity reporting mechanism to journalists in North Central region of Nigeria, where violent conflicts have wreaked havoc on most farming communities. The Chief of Party Partner at Mercy Corps, Mr. Danjuma Dawup, who facilitates the training on conflict-sensitive reporting for media practitioners from Benue and Nasarawa State, says media are a dependable ally in peace building.
Over the past 6 years, significant efforts by the United Nations and government officials have aimed to address the humanitarian crisis caused by their displacement and resolve the underlying conflict that began in 2018. The media has also played a crucial role in reporting these conflicts and the impact on displaced communities. To further enhance conflict-sensitive reporting, journalists from Benue and Nasarawa states gathered in Makurdi. The workshop, organized by the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, and Mercy Corps, focused on how media practitioners can contribute to peace building and provide solutions through their reporting.
If NGOs can work in areas where there are conflict, and then as a result of their work, they tend to exacerbate conflict or actually create new ones, then the media also have the same potential. That what they write, especially in areas of conflict, tends to impact on the conflict offline. So we feel that if we can kind of draw the attention of the media to understand the relationship between, one, the online ecosystem where they operate, and the offline conflict dynamics, which of the impact of whatever it is they write or they report, then it's important that with that understanding, if they understand this, then they will be able to write in a conflict-sensitive way.
Following a comprehensive 6-hour session, several journalists shared how the insights gained will improve their future reporting.
Conflict is dynamic and it evolves. So as such, as a journalist, one has to apply sensitivity in his reportage or writing. So likewise, being accurate in your reports, and also not to take side, because this is one of journalists' problems. Most journalists take side in their reportage.
I understand today that as a journalist, if I must report conflict, it then means that we certainly have to go to the root of the root cause of the conflict. It means I need to know what is responsible for the conflict. It's not enough for me to, okay, it's okay, I've heard them fighting, so let me quickly rush to go and report it. I need to know what is responsible for the fighting. I need to know how I should be able to approach the story to the point that people from both sides will not feel I'm going one side in any way. And that means that I must necessarily make it clear.
One participant discussed strategies for presenting conflict-sensitive stories to avoid exacerbating tension.
With what we've learned today, for me, is that you report conflict better with a better understanding of the situation. You understand? And Also, as much as possible, as a reporter, you learn how to detach yourself from the conflict, because we have biases, we have our emotions. Once you don't do that, instead of dousing the tension, you end up exacerbating the situation.
The Benue-Nasarawa corridor has experienced numerous violent conflicts, resulting in loss of life, destruction of livelihood, and displacement into IDP camps. However, through thoughtful and sensitive reporting, the media can play a pivotal role in changing the narrative and fostering sustainable solutions.
Welcome back. The Kogi State chapter of the All Progressives Congress has inaugurated the party's local government election primary screening committees for the 3 senatorial districts. The state chairman of the party, Mr. Abdullahi Bello, performed the ceremony at the state's party secretariat in Lokoja, the Kogi State capital. Mr. Bello asked the committees to discharge their duties based on the party's guidelines and without fear or favor.
The All Progressives Congress, APC in Kogi State, seems to be taking all measures necessary to ensure that its aspirants meet the State Independent Electoral Commission's guidelines ahead of the local government elections. After a closed-door meeting with party executives, the APC chairman in Kogi State addresses committee members outlining their responsibilities before their official inauguration.
The 3 7-member committees will each cover the 3 senatorial districts of Kogi East, Kogi West, and Kogi Central, respectively. The list of the committee's members is hereby attached for your information. The committees have the responsibility to pursue the information and documents contained in the expression of interest form and nomination form that are submitted by our aspirant in line with the party high standard already established over the years.
Speaking on behalf of the other screening committee chairman, Professor Usman Obo reassured that the process will be fair with a level playing field for all aspirants.
Level playing field, transparency, accountability, and will give each and every one of the candidate or aspirants opportunities, equal opportunities, because our mandate is simple. We are to check their papers, which has already been submitted, and that's what we are going to check in line with the party's guidelines as given to us. So by the grace of God, I don't think there's any cause for alarm. All Progressive Congress, Kogi chapter.
The Kogi State Independent Electoral Commission has scheduled the local government elections for October 19, 2024.
Still in Kogi State, Veterinary Medical Association in the state are appealing to the state government to pay members of the association 42 months arrears owed the workers by the previous administration. At a forum held in Lokoja, the Kogi State capital, the chairman of the association, Dr. Omutu Batolu, says Governor Usman Ododo has given approval for the payment of the consolidated medical salary structure to veterinary doctors in the state, but seek prompt payment. Dr. Tolu is also advocating for the establishment of the Ministry of Livestock Development in the state in order to improve livestock production.
We extend our profound gratitude to the Executive Governor of Kogi State, His Excellency Alhaji Usman Ahmed Ododo, for his approval and prompt implementation of the 2021 revised Consolidated Medical Salary Structure, CONMES, for our members within the Kogi State Civil Service. This approval has motivated us to carry out our duties with renewed enthusiasm and the highest level of dedication. Secondly, we respectfully urge His Excellency to utilize his esteemed office to ensure the prompt payment of the accumulated arrears since the salary structures implementation in January 2021. Thirdly, as as key stakeholders in the livestock industry, and given the significant and growing population of livestock in Kogi State, we seize this opportunity to call on His Excellency Alhaji Usman Ahmed Ododo to leverage the newly created Ministry of Livestock Development by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led administration. We advocate for the establishment of a similar ministry in Kogi State and the appointment of a credible veterinarian as its commissioner.
As the economic hardship continues to bite, 4 orphanages have received palliatives from the Kefi Polo Ranch, comprising foodstuffs, mattresses, and learning materials. The palliatives are provided from proceeds of the recently concluded Polo for Orphans tournament held in June this year. Our correspondent Halima Gayam reports.
Members of the Kefi Polo Ranch, led by its founder, Senator Ahmed Wadada, are on a significant mission today. The group is visiting orphanages in the southern zone of the state to deliver palliative aid. This visit follows the recent Polo for Orphans tournament, with proceeds from the event being used to support these vulnerable children. This initiative is part of a routine practice after each tournament aimed at providing the much-needed support to orphans whom the event is held in honor of.
Leadership is about giving back to the society. And of course, the orphans are one of the most vulnerable people in our society. And I feel as a leader, I should give back to the society. And in giving back to the society, my greatest focus is on the most vulnerable.
The moment has been heartwarming for the beneficiaries.
We are very grateful. We appreciate. May God keep him. Long life. He will see his great-grandchildren.
Over 150 orphans from 4 orphanages in the southern zone are receiving food items, mattresses and learning materials as requested by the caregivers. Senator Wadada also called for prayers for leaders as the nation continues to face economic challenges.
And the special request is for you to continue to pray for the successes of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and of course the success of the Governor of Nasarawa State, Engineer A.A. Sule, who has been doing the best he can within his reach to ensure that first and foremost, Nasarawa lives in peace.
By channeling tournament proceeds to support orphans, the Kefi Polo Ranch is not only enhancing the game of polo in the state, but also making a meaningful social impact. This initiative continues to demonstrate the power of sports in driving positive change within communities. Halima Gayam, Channels Television News.
We head over to Niger State, where the acting governor, Yakubu Garba, has described the attack on some communities in Shiroro local government area of the state as insensible and callous. During a visit to the area today, Mr. Garba commiserated with the affected families, community members, and the entire people of Shiroro local government area over the unfortunate incident. He is concerned that the attack is coming at the time farmers are expected to spend more time in their farms, as fear of more attacks has forced them to desert their land.
I will use this opportunity to just clear one notion, because it was actually in the social media that actually they were going for mining. But the true position of things, they were not going for mining. They were leaving IDP to meet their colleague in one ongoing Giro for the reason, at least for farming purpose, because they want to exploit means they don't want to be dependent on government. So they were going to the other area to have a little space of farmland for farming. So for those who were saying they were going for mining, actually it was a misinformation. However, based on your own question, the general insecurity, for sure, it has to affect the outcome of agricultural revolution of this very government. because the people who are predominant farmers have been chased away by these bandits. So you don't expect us to have adequate bumper harvest or season as expected. Let me tell you that 75% of Shiroro is in the other side of Lakma, while the population is in this side. That's the vast land that has been completely deserted by our people. How do you expect us to have adequate bumper season as expected? It's not possible. So generally, I think we're doing everything humanly possible to ensure that actually we change the narration, help us in prayers, help us with advice and any other inputs that will help in timing this ugly scenario in Niger State.
And that's it on Newsroom series. I'm Dominic Iwiwu. Remain safe.